Hello everyone, my name is Space Croquette and today we will speedrun The Messenger. Thank you very much to SpeedCon to have us today and to help me to comment this wonderful game. I have Storm with me. Hello Storm, how are you?
Yo, hi, I'm Storm. Storm's also active speedrunner of this game, and yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you to take the time with me. So we will start directly. We will make a new save game and find a wonderful game for this. So let's go SpeedCon. So the timer will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Yeah, Godspeed.
Thank you very much. Should I start or do you want to start?
However you want. So
I can maybe start then this time. So The Messenger is a platformer game that came out in 2018, was made by Sabotage Studio, and it's heavily inspired from games like Ninja Gaiden, if we can say that. And so we start in this first level, and we will learn in this first level the first ability of our ninja, which is called Cloud Step. And the principle of it is to have the ability to have a second jump. You have to hit something, and we will abuse this in the whole game. And that's something really important for the whole game, actually. If we speak about the lore a bit, we are that's a bit the end of the world. We are living in the ninja village, and we are waiting for the hero of the West to come to save us against the big demon. We doesn't know a lot more about here, but this hero from the West will give us a message that we will have to bring at the top of the mountain, and that's why we are the messenger. So that's, if I can start with a small intro like this.
Okay, yeah, since Space now needs to concentrate a bit because the first stage of a speedrun is already pretty damn hard. So yeah, we'll talk a bit more now about the speedrun. So we will run the category 8-bit, no out of bounds. So 8-bit is only the first half of the game. We call it 8-bit because it's kind of looking like this 8-bit Ninja Gaiden style. And we are in the Autumn Hills now, and as you can see, we are abusing something called turtle boost. So we are kind of slashing backwards to get a bit more frames out of the turtles. Also, we need to make sure that we collect 40 shards, because at the end of kind of this room, we need to go to the shop to buy our first upgrade. And for that, we need 40 time shards that you can see in the top right corner. We have 32 right now, but now we have 40. We will go into the shop, see the shopkeeper for once, buy the upgrade that we can slash projectiles now. And we will also get the climbing claws, so we can climb walls now. Yeah, as already told, Autumn Hills is one of the hardest stages early on doing the speedrun. Because pretty much the whole stage is pretty optimized. 8-bit in general is a pretty optimized category. The world record right now is 29 minutes and I think 3 or 4 seconds by Gronius. And yeah, now we will try to go for a damage boost. Got boosted left, unfortunately, so we need to take a swing. But yeah, it's not a huge time loss, but normally we want to be damage boost towards the right hand side to get over that spike pit. But unfortunately, the spikes are seeded or also RNG based in this game, so sometimes we can't influence that. And since we don't have any more upgrades yet, we can't recover from that. So we are kind of dependent on RNG if you got boosted left or right.
I was pretty unlucky. You have to restart the game completely if you want to have the damage boost now.
Yeah, so I think half a year ago we found out that most of the early game spikes are seeded. So we found out that if we restart the game for every attempt, and if you jump from specific points, we can always get a white boost. But yeah, until half a year ago, it was kind of already a huge reset point if you want to go for top times. Yeah, we just skipped the spike tower. Now we're using the fireflies to get quickly and don't jump too much on these platforms. And as you can see, we try to abuse the cloud steps, the projectiles, and overall turtle boosting and the lanterns to get pretty nice movement with the cloud steps.
That's the pretty nice movement is really something that is really incredible with this game. Has the more fluidity you have in your run, the faster you are actually, and that's something really satisfying.
Okay, and yeah, also we need to make sure that we get 130 shards at the end of Autumn Hills, because we need to buy 2 upgrades. But right now it's looking very good. But yeah, that is also a crucial point, that you need to make sure that you don't grab any unnecessary lanterns and time shards, but that you at least grab so much that you get to 130 shards at the end of the stage. And yeah, after this big climb coming up now, we are already at the end of Autumn Hills. And we will face the first boss in this game, but before, as mentioned already, we need to buy 2 upgrades. We will buy the shurikens. We need the shurikens to one-cycle the next boss. And the second upgrade that we bought is called Second Wind. And Second Wind is kind of a damage recovery, so if we get hit, we can recover from that now, and this is crucial for damage boosts and all of that stuff. Yeah, this is the Leaf Monster, or Leaf Golem. We try to one-cycle this dude with the power of the shurikens and the power of our slashes, so we just use while slashing the shurikens, and as you can see, we one-cycled the enemy. So otherwise, if we didn't hit that, the leaf monster would jump upwards to the platform and yeah, kind of cost time, way too much time, and yeah, thanks to the shurikens we can one-cycle them.
I'm always... So I will comment this stage because it's very hard, so... and you can make a small break. So here, that's the second stage. You are meeting in the speedrun, and like a good speedrunner, I'm already done, so now you are again.
Yeah. Yeah, this was Forlorn Temple, not really important, that stage, for the 8-bit part of the speedrun. Now we are in Catacombs. Catacombs is a pretty cycle-based stage, so you will see that we try to make most of the cycles as fluent as possible. And also one of the important skips is coming up that maybe we get to see, but first off, we will see a short glimpse at the boss of the stage. He will spawn some enemies, and we need to clear the enemies first before we can, go on.
Oh, I have an excuse not to make the damage skip here.
Yeah, normally there's a damage boost here called Butt Boost, because we try to hit the spike with Ninja and use the damage animation to, get faster through the water. But since we were not sure which seed he got with the spike damages, it's kind of risky to go for that.
So...
Yeah, and as you can see, pretty cycle-based here, and if the movement is right, we can make it in perfect time here and don't need to wait too much. But especially if you're starting out with the game, Catacombs is a pretty scary stage, I would say.
It's pretty hard. The first level actually has, when you play it casually, is pretty easy and super hard as speedrun, and Catacombs as casual is pretty hard actually.
Here we took a small damage boost to just avoid this waiting on this kind of crushers. And after this last vertical room that is pretty hard to optimize, we will get into the so-called Bedonk tech strat. So Bedonk is a cutscene skip that we found out due to NG+. So what we try to do now is we try to get one of the cloud steps into the next room, and use that to, yeah, nice, you got it. And we use that to jump towards the lantern, and with that we skip the cutscene. So normally, if you jump, if you hit the bottom, the boss of the stage would spawn 3 so-called wizards or wizards that you need to clear before you can proceed again. And since we made that 3-frame trick called Bedonk, yeah, we kind of saved ourselves 8 seconds because we don't need to see that. That trick is pretty hard, so it looked way easier than it is because you only have 3 frames to hit it, and due to the screen transition you can't really have a visual cue. But yeah, luckily we got that, and that's pretty nice for this showcase. Yeah, here we just barely made the cycle. If you go through the room, it's always like that. And yeah, we are already at the end of Catacombs. We don't buy any upgrades here. And we will see one of the most RNG heavy bosses of the game. This is Ruxton,
Hi,
the boss of Catacombs. Ruxton can be really cruel towards you because it's RNG if he spawns bottom or low. And yeah, unfortunately we have low Ruxton, and that's the bad pattern. Normally we want Ruxton to spawn on the top platform. We try to mitigate the time loss now, but yeah, unfortunately if you get low Ruxton you lose 8 seconds by default and you can't really do anything about it. And if you combine that with Bedonk, so the cutscene skip, you can kind of imagine that in some cases you get a plus 16 seconds by default, and especially if you get better in the game, this is kind of a heavy reset point. But now we are getting into Bamboo Creek. So Bamboo Creek also a pretty cool stage. So the game is kind of expanding your abilities surely, but Bamboo Creek is just again a stage to make sure that you get more and more comfy with the movement. Yeah, we got these switches here where we just open some doors for, yeah, I don't know, extra difficulty. And yeah, there are also existing lyrics for the stage. I will not sing them, but they are about Chinese food, so...
I love Chinese food. Chinese food is good for you. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, kind of like that, yeah. So the composer of the game, Rainbow Dragon Eyes, was really creative about the lyrics of the stage, but overall you can say Messenger is a really great soundtrack. And yeah, now we are skipping the tree. No, we didn't get it. Oh, second try? Yeah, we got it second try. So yeah, we aligned in the community that this small trick is not out of bounds. Technically, you could kind of argue that it is an out of bounds, but since it's the only time we are doing that, we kind of aligned that this is valid. And this is now the famous BC11 room. And we got the N2 skip, nice. So normally in this big room you want to go, or you need to go for the elevator, and that takes a lot of time. So in the speedrun, and especially in 8-bit, we now have 4 or 5 techniques how to do that. And, whoa, okay, please don't die. And, yeah, what Space just showed off was the so-called N2 skip. That is kind of the OG strat, how to do that. We have faster methods now, but N2 is still fine, because the faster methods only save you 1 or 2 more seconds, but they're pretty damn hard to pull off.
I really like, I learned this one pretty recently, this way, because I had really a lot of problem with the timing, and I found that when I was jumping to the right and coming back to the left, that was the perfect timing to do it. So I'm pretty happy that I'm able to do it right now.
So next up we are in Howling Grotto. We are getting the wingsuit now. So the wingsuit is a new ability that we get from a shopkeeper to glide through stages. And what we are also buying is an upgrade that we can slash via wingsuiting with so-called wingsuit slash and the water boost. So if we are getting into water now, we can kind of have a dive boost, but we will use that only at one part of the whole 8-bit one. So we kind of need to buy it because of the wingsuit slash, but it's not used heavily in the speed one at all, at least in the 8-bit part.
That's actually what we can say, that the use of this capacity for the 8-bit was added a bit later in the game, because in the beginning of the game was when the world game was created. There was no place in the game where during the 8-bit speedrun where you can use the water boost, and it was added by the developer for the speedrunner, so it was actually pretty cool.
Okay, so coming up here is this famous decay room, because yeah, it's kind of like Donkey Kong, that you get boulders thrown at you that you need to avoid. And we also got the so-called decay skip, so we damage boost through the one saw blade to get in time just to kind of squeeze before the other saw blade, and this is called the decay skip. Saves a couple of seconds, isn't that hard, but it's also it's pretty easy to mess up, and if you mess it up badly, you die, like with a lot of techniques or a lot of strats in this game. But yeah, as you can see, holding Grotto is a really more vertical stage now, so we make use of a wingsuit as much as possible. Here we see the water boost, so that was the only part in 8-bit where we can see that. Yeah, but again, cool stage, very cool music, pretty much like the music of Holding Grotto.
If you look at all the rock people, then they are dancing on the music. That's something pretty cool actually.
And yeah, time chart wise, so we still need to collect money because we need to buy more upgrades soonish, but it isn't as crucial as in the other stages anymore. So it's kind of more natural, the lanterns you pick up now, and you don't need to go for safety lanterns or something like that. Yeah, now the Emerald Golem, the next boss. For speedrunners, one of the hardest, because we need to count while we are approaching this boss. So what we try to do is now we try to slash the core in the middle 7 times. Then we go to the side and do the last part with a shuriken, because then we get the upstream and can get to the top as soon as possible. And this kind of technique we need to do twice. So now again we slash in 7 times, go to the side, last hit with a shuriken, and then we immediately go to the top and slash it. Nice, and then we 2-cycled the first phase of the emerald. And next up we need to fight against the green ball coming out of the Emerald Golem. Where he moves is totally RNG, so we can't influence it. And yeah, as you can see, Emerald Golem can really screw you up.
I missed 1 click and I lost 2 seconds, but it was okay at the end.
Yeah, we try to get we try that the Emerald Golem should go as low as possible, but yeah, since we can't influence them, it's kind of praying that he goes into the right direction. So, Quiz Room or Quiz Room March. I think casually one of the most awful stages.
Yeah, probably. It's
because
very hard.
Everything tries to kill you in this stage. As you can see, we have this mushroom folks here now that also shooting spikes at you. You have this quicksand that we also like to call peanut butter in the community. So. And yeah, Crucial Marsh is a really hard stage, so especially if you go for faster strats, it's getting pretty optimized, and this is the longest room in the speedrun in 8-bit, so it's around 45 seconds, and yeah, you only need to hold the right direction most of the time, but
And
Yeah, it's a pretty optimized room, so Space is not going for the fully insane optimizations here, but yeah, it can be pretty hard otherwise.
so for people who are looking, you can look at the lantern, they are singing on the music. So that's pretty cool actually.
Yeah, you have a lot of gimmicks here and there doing Messenger, with, especially based on the music.
And the game is super fun, has a lot of jokes, and it's really enjoyable to play.
Most of the jokes you will not see in the speedrun because we skipped most of the text, or we skipped every text, but
and we play
yeah.
in Chinese, so it's very hard to read them.
Yeah, and also we play in Chinese, simplified Chinese, because it's the fastest language. It saves a couple of frames with every text box compared to Japanese, for example. And yeah, as you can see, he's going through the rooms as optimized as possible. We try to avoid getting too much lanterns, or try to avoid hitting too much. So this is the bully room, because if you have bad luck, you can get hit a lot or damage a lot in this room. That's why we call it bully room. And yeah, now we are near the end of Crash room. So as you can see, you can't even commentate that fast how we get through the stages in 8-bit. But yeah, this room, for example, is pretty damn hard to optimize because of the quicksand.
Oh.
Because if Ninja touches that quicksand, your whole movement is slow, or is slower until you hit your feet land on normal ground again. And now we are coming towards the Queen of Quilts, one of the hardest bosses in the speedrun, and also casually. So what we try to do is, the Queen of Quilts always tries to go to these hooks, and normally what you need to do, or what happens if... Oh yeah, now we can see it. So normally you try to hit her always out of the hook, because the damage animations, yeah, we will see it now. These damage animations take a really long time. So it's unfortunate that we see it now, but what we try to mitigate in the speedrun is that we follow her upwards these hooks, hit her from the hooks directly again, so that we don't see all of that. But yeah, it was still a fast queen fight, so not that bad.
But something positive is I just gold Quill Room the level, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's something that I was able to gold on live, so it's nice.
Okay, now Searing Cracks. We will get the last upgrade for the speedrun now in the shop. So if you thought the speedrun of Messenger is already fast and optimized, we will now get the rope dart. So the rope dart you can compare to something like a hook shot. And with that, we will use that for climbing. We will use that to use that as horizontal movement. And as you can see, we try to use it as often as possible to get all the distance that we normally would have covered by normal running. And this makes the speedrun even faster in general, and it's also a bit harder now. So especially Searing Cracks, if you're starting out with a speedrun, is pretty damn hard, and I hate the stage till the day. So yeah, it's a few people like the stage in the community, but Searing Cracks can be really something, to call it like that.
I like the stage.
Yeah,
because I like it because when you make a good cracks, you are so proud of yourself. You know that's you know that you have achieved something. Oh, that was terrible right now.
Yeah, normally we try to use one of the meatballs, or oh god, I don't know what the French name of this enemy is. I think it's Ros Crossidere or something like that. But yeah, we just call them meatballs because it's easier. And we tried to use one of them to kind of skip half of the room. So let's see if you can get it, so I can explain it.
I will try.
Nice. Okay. So that was something called a teleport. So with teleporting, we are kind of abusing a bit how the game manages sprites and memory. And I don't want to go too technically because we have the next boss fight coming up. But yeah, we kind of can manipulate where Ninja's hookshots get connected to. And yeah, this is now Colors and Fuses, the biggest one killers for the whole 8-bit speedrun. Because these two guys can be pretty hard on RNG, what kind of attacks they're giving to you. So Colors is the big red guy that you can only attack from behind. And Fuses is the green guy that you can only attack from the front. And yeah, as you can see, they have different patterns that they're throwing at us. I think you need to do 60 damage to both of them, so 120 damage.
That was a good
and
one.
Yeah, that was kind of fast Colors and Fuses, but if you're unlucky, you can get stuck here forever because the patterns they're giving you are, yeah, totally RNG. And yeah, that was already Searing Cracks, and now we're getting into Glacier Peak, so we are near the mountain. Glacier Peak is one of the coolest stages in the 8-bit speedrun, so the game now, yeah, lets you make use of the rope dart, of the wingsuit, of yeah, basically everything. The game just wants to show you how cool movement is done in the stage. The music of the stage is really, really cool and beautiful. And as you can see, the stages in general with Searing Cracks get a lot more vertical thanks to the rope dart. And basically we can spectate now how space is just, speedily flying through these rooms, and yeah.
It's a really enjoyable when you can control your ninja. That's really, really fun to speedrun this game.
Yeah. So yeah, there's not really much to talk about in Glacier Peak because it's just watching beautiful movement. To be honest, it's as already mentioned,
we doesn't not die.
Yeah, we try to make use of the rope dart as much as possible, get as much distance as possible with the rope dart. We use it for climbing, we use it for grabbing lanterns and enemies. We also use the rope dart for getting iframes in boss fights, so yeah, the rope dart is your friend in this game. But also, this whole rope dart climbing and rope dart movement is pretty damn hard, so especially if you're starting out, it will not look that, the flow will look a bit different, but yeah, you just need to practice and practice and practice and it will become better and better. And we are near the top of the mountain. We don't need to visit the shop anymore, and we now get to meet the 3 blue robes. That kind of giving us the last challenge. So we brought the scroll up the mountain, and now we are kind of summoning the so-called Tower of Time. And in Tower of Time is our last, how could you say it? Our last task, our last quest for this. And yeah, Tower of Time it's a stage, you could say. It's a stage.
So I have learned one or two new moves, so I will try to place them now. So
the stage is also called Tower of Tears because everything tries to kill you in the stage. You have lasers now, as you can see. If we hit one of these lasers, you will get 4 damage, and so you can kind of imagine that we can't get hit that much in the stage. Yeah, as you can see, we got switches now, crystal switches that we need to activate. We have a lot of lasers now. In this room here, we unfortunately need to wait for the cycle. There's a technique, a strat called Hail Mary to, make use of 2 specific damage boosts to get through this room. but especially in marathons, yeah, it can be pretty hard if you're not used to Hail Mary, and it can quickly go wrong and you will die if you are not careful. So yeah, as you can see here, we make use of the damage of the Wizrobe to skip the lasers, so yeah, using of the iframes. Maybe a quick mention, the movement of these Wizrobes is completely RNG, so we can't manipulate where they are going. Yeah, here, shoutouts to Levy, the Levy special, to kind of quickly skip these platforms and skip the lasers. Nice. Also, we make the cycle here with some crystal abusing, and we make use of the warp dart. We have full HP now, so in the next room, I bet that Space will go for a strat called French Connection. So
course,
we kind of...
If I don't do the French Connection now...
Yeah, so we try to damage boost here now through the lasers because we have the HP. And yeah, luckily made that, so sometimes it can go wrong if your warp dart hits yeah, an unpleasant laser or something. But as you can see, so many spikes, so many lasers. Yeah, this stage is really something, but it's also the last stage for the 8-bit part. So it's kinda, yeah, the last quest for the ninja.
The last skip come. I hope I will be able to do it.
Yeah, so as you could see, Space just saved one of the shurikens to hit the crystal here early. If you don't hit that, we call that the so-called walk of shame. And let's see if he can survive the Wizrobe madness. Yeah, luckily he got through. So especially in marathons, this can be pretty risky, going with 1 HP in that room, and these Wizrobes can really screw you up. Yeah, I speak from experience. So, and here in this kind of waiting room, you could say we will use a technique called crystal abuse to kind of hit the last crystal through the wall to avoid yeah, a couple of seconds in that room. And now we have the last final climb, and then we will already occur the final boss of 8-bit, and time is also coming up soon then, the Arcane Golem. So time is coming up once we have the final hit on the Arcane Golem. The fight roughly takes about 20-25 seconds max. And as you can see, the Arcane Golem now coming up is the last boss of his category. Pretty beefy guy. What we try to do is we use the rope dart to get into his head as soon as possible and try to rope dart slash him all the time to get iframes. Because with the rope dart we get iframes, so these kind of ping balls don't hit you. And yeah, you need to get a feeling for the clap so that you get stick to him as much as possible. And
Time.
Oh.
It was PB pace. I'm only 4 seconds over PB.
Nice.
Oh, damn, so close.
But
GG.
I made 2 gold. I gold my tower too. It was nice. I gold my tower, so I'm still happy, and gold my quill room also. That's 2 terrible stage, so I'm pretty happy actually. It was not so bad. And almost gold in glacial too, so it was okay. I'm happy. Now yeah, so that's the end. So maybe I can show a bit of spoiler, a bit of trailer for people who are maybe interesting. So the run is called 8-bit no OoB, but now the free wizard told us, yeah, you managed to pass the test, if we can say that. Now you can jump, and the game just evolve and change in the 16-bit format, let's say. And the adventure can continue, but that's will not be there here for the speedrun.
Yep. So since this is only 8 bits, we don't cover this part now. This part would be linear and also any %. But yeah, maybe Space will do that one day.
I have done it sometimes, but Manfred, there is a terrible boss, and he's not so fun. So,
Okay.
I think that's the end. Thank you very much, SpeedCon, to having Hufted. Thank you very much, Storm, again. Very nice commentary. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And don't forget, money for Save the Children, it's important. And maybe we'll see each other again sometime. So thank you very much. See you then. Bye-bye.